Boy, all that like Kenny. Still got crack, they fiendin'. Flow still hot like Phoenix. Shine so bright, I'm gleaming. This off top, I'm tweaking. Fresh out the rat like Neiman. And I'm still tryna fight my demons. Cause we all gotta act like Tina. That's why I gotta ride with the Nina. Outside, it's a war going on. Make me put my hands on my head like the Macarena. They want you walking on board like Kima. Ain't give a F to you like John Cena. Putting blood on the brand new Beamer. Tryna earn they stripes like Adidas. You get cold when you ride with the heater. It'll turn you to a dog like a keto. And expose to a cat like a cheetah. They smoke my partner like reefer. Dímelo porque o no entiendo. Mi gente must really need Jesus. They shed real blood. I never seen the crypt and I believe it. It's too easy. Too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. Too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. Too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. Too easy. It's too easy. I've been there, done it, seen it. Y'all just talk, don't live it. And just took that route, that seen it. I'm so outspoken like Reason.
Good morning. Good morning. We have made it to week 1. Thank you all for tuning in. If you're in the chat, say good morning. First good morning check of the season. Let me see in the chat some good mornings. Hopefully you all are doing well. It's been a long summer. We've got some stuff to talk about. Tyreek Hill, I was hoping that it didn't break that he was going to play until we got on here because it's just hilarious. But I think we're all good on that front. If Tyreek Hill would have got arrested and ruled out, I would have not played it. I would have unregistered my my DFS contest. I would not have been playing DFS today. But we are back. CJ, True Love, Dewan, Dom. Seeing your face makes NFL real. Thank you, Dom. I appreciate you turning in. Someone from Vietnam's in the chat. Austin, good morning. Frosty, good morning. All right. Matt will be joining the stream here in a few minutes. So when he's in the waiting room, I'll bring him in. Kind of the same format as years past. Matt and I will kind of give our final thoughts on the slate here. And then we'll answer all of your questions. Melissa, good morning. Brad, Troy, Frank, hello. Yeah, so I have all of my core plays are posted for subscribers, dfskarma.com/pricing. 3 DK teams today, 2 on FanDuel. I liked that FanDuel kept the Sunday night game on the main slate. Kind of reminds me of the old days of DFS. We used to have the Monday game on there as well. Stephanie, good morning. But I like them keeping the Sunday night game, especially when it's such a good game. I mean, Rams and Lions is arguably the best game of the day in terms of fantasy goodness. So I'm happy that FanDuel left that on there. I'm actually excited for the FanDuel slate today because I get to have, St. Brown and Cooper Kupp and those guys on my teams. Mitchell, good morning. Yeah, Tyreek. We'll talk about Tyreek. I don't know. I don't think we need to discuss it heavily. Scott, good morning. It looks like he's good to go. But yeah, I mean, he's probably going to go for 250 yards now instead of 175. I just saw a Rappaport thing Schefter thing pop up, but I thought it said Jamar Chase was out, but it's not. Jamar Chase not expected to reach extension before kickoff. Status remains unclear. Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that when Matt gets on here, we'll talk a little bit more about it. But I mean, I think Chase is good to go for this game. He had previously said he wouldn't play without an extension, and then he backtracked and said he would play without an extension. So I don't know. I mean, I guess we won't know truly until inactives come out, I guess, is how it sounds. But I think Chase is good to go. Tyreek Hill, good to go. I was going to make the title for this super clickbait, Tyreek Hill arrested, but I didn't do it. Jim, good morning. You guys can start funneling some questions in. And then once Matt gets in here, we'll talk a little bit and I'll go back and we'll go through all the questions. For me though, betting wise, I guess I could talk about some bets here. Tim, good morning. Before Matt joins in and we dive into DFS, I'm kind of sticking with my same. I had a pretty bad college football day yesterday. Um, pretty upset at myself for that. Made some dumb mistakes. Jim asked favorite touchdown play, Survivor top three. All right, those are two good ones here. Touchdowns for me today. I do obviously like Tyreek Hill. I like Anthony Richardson to score a touchdown. I like Mike Evans to score a touchdown. That's probably my three favorites. And then if you want a longer odds one, I would throw Taysom Hill at 2-1 is pretty good value. I think that there's a pretty decent size chance he's the Saints goal line back, when the game starts. So I think getting him 2-1 to score a touchdown is pretty good odds. I think Matt's in here now. Let's see. Matt, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, man? How are you?
Let's go. We're back. Now we're really back.
Yeah.
Now it's official.
It's official. I got no mic. I got no headphones, but we're just going
Oh, we've never been a well-oiled operation around here.
No, I'm excited though, dude. I like, did you already cover how if Reek wasn't playing, we would just literally unregister everything and just call it weekend?
Yeah, I said that I'm with you. If he like they said he wasn't going to play, I would have just canceled everything.
No question. Yeah.
Except for head-to-heads, I don't think you can cancel those. So I guess I would have been just
right.
Just rolling with. Okay. I don't even want to think about it. I don't even know. I don't want to think about it. But all right, Matt. Since we haven't really talked, we didn't do a video this week. I want to know kind of what's your overall thoughts. I know you love Week 1. You're really excited for this. I know you're super confident in your teams today. So kind of just give me a quick little breakdown here before we fully dive in.
It's funny. There's a couple good over-unders and games to attack. We're missing a lot of the real high-powered offenses, right? I mean, we've seen a few already this week. We got Rams and Lions tonight, so there's a lot of the real primetime offenses are out, but we do have some places to attack. I think it's a little concentrated. It's going to be a little chalky. I think a lot of people are just going to those. I would say the three main games are Houston, Indy, obviously Miami, Jacksonville, and then Buffalo, Arizona. But per usual, the industry with all the advice that's floating around, it all kind of condenses down to a few plays. You can find really low owned plays inside of the same environments that people are loving, which to me is the new way to beat DFS. It used to be that there was no information, right? In week 1 of 2015, that's when I shipped like 120 grand off of information that nowadays people find it easy. I was grinding the beat writers back then when no one was doing that, right? Now they have Twitter accounts dedicated to all the beat writers, right? So now there's information everywhere, but it's gone too far. And now there's just too much condensing on certain plays and totally ignoring incredible plays. So that's per usual. That's how I'll be attacking it.
Yeah. I think I agree. I have a back and forth with Week 1, but I do agree. If you're confident in like the scheme stuff, especially, I think obviously there's no better time to take advantage of that than this week, because if you think better than other people, that can obviously be very helpful in terms of your lineup. So what's like the one or two spots you think that maybe just the average person is not kind of caught on to for this week?
Yeah, I think one of them, which is so not my style of play because it's an older, player who's not really, shiny and athletically gifted. But I don't know, man. I'm really big on James Conner this week in Buffalo, facing a team that just legit was not good against the run last year. We remember them getting absolutely gashed by Breece Hall in week 1 when A-Rod, went down and tore his Achilles. But this is not a good run defense. They just lost their captain and play caller of the defense in Matt Milano, middle linebacker. They've lost both really strong safeties in Hyde and Poyer. They're starting legitimately second and third string safeties on most teams. And again, the middle of their defense is now, kind of in shambles with no Milano there. That helps two things. It helps James Conner, helps Trey McBride. Trey McBride's going to get some play, no question. I think James Conner, he was one of the most efficient running backs to finish the year last year with Kyler, averaged the most yards after contact. I mean, he was an absolute monster, and I think that continues. Yes, there's always risk with Kyler running one in. Sure. I'm betting on, I think you are too. I'm betting on Arizona this year to be really competent. I think that with Marvin on the outside, it opens up things across the middle even more for guys like McBride. I think on the road, they're going to be looking for quick, reliable plays to guys like Connor and McBride. I'm big on that. The other, I think, main point of interest that somehow it's going to be like 4 to 5 or 6% owned is and I know he's kind of my boy, but it's Justin Jefferson, man. I think if you ran this slate out 1,000 times, he outscores Tyreek 40% of the time. So he should not be this low owned in comparison to Tyreek. You got Kevin O'Connell with months and months to scheme and prepare for this poor secondary in the Giants. And you got Addison, who's banged up. You got no TJ Hawkinson. You got even their slot receiver banged up, Jalen Naylor, Spartan dog, but he's banged up. So I just think it's gonna really condense around Jettas. And I think that if you can get that type of player with that type of upside in one of the best matchups he'll have all year at 4%, that's just absurd. So those are my two probably biggest conviction plays.
Yeah, I love it. I'm with you on James Conner. I actually put him. My main tournament team is a CJ Stroud team. I did follow suit with you on James Conner there. Agree. I mean, just getting low ownership in that game. I think I think the pass catchers will be pretty low owned as well, especially on the Buffalo side.
Mhm.
But yeah, to your point, Buffalo really struggled against the run last year. And as much as I like Trey Benson for his career, he was not great in the preseason. So if there's any time to play James Conner, I think it's going to be obviously, early season when he's healthy and when they're not motivated. As the season goes on, if they're not winning games, they will be more motivated, obviously, to see what they have in Trey Benson. But that's not going to happen the first month of the season. So agree with you on James Conner. I think he's really good to play today.
Yeah. What are you seeing? I mean, so you got Stroud as your main quarterback. It sounds like. Who are you pairing him with? I'm assuming Nico, maybe Dell.
Yeah. So Cash, I'm playing just my normal chalk. I have Anthony Richardson and Cash, but for my main tournament team, I did double CJ Stroud. I just think that I've gone back and forth on this. Like, I don't have a lot of CJ Stroud in best ball or season long, but I've gone back and forth on this, and I just think that it's going to be really hard for him not to be in the MVP conversation when he has Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Steph Diggs to throw the ball to. We know based off what he did last year, like, they're going to throw the ball a lot, I think. And I think the moves they made in the offseason going out and getting Steph Diggs tells us that. So again, good matchup. He had success against Gus Bradley's defense twice last year. They didn't translate to big fantasy games, but I think he only had 2 total touchdown passes in those 2 games. The one game, I think he had like 340 yards, but just 1 touchdown pass. That's a big point of emphasis for him this year, I think, is that touchdown rate is going to come up. I would be shocked if he plays the entire season fully healthy and has a 4.6% touchdown rate again, right? He's going to throw for more touchdowns. So
yeah, I spoke about this in the Discord, but this is one of my biggest things for years now on week 1 is buying into sharp offensive coordinators and coaches when they have all this time to prepare and scheme up plays. Yeah. And Bobby Slowick coming off the Shanahan tree, Slowick is definitely one of those guys. Absolutely destroyed Indy twice last year. Here's the thing. I think Stroud is the safest floor quarterback this entire weekend. He doesn't even run. Mm-hmm. I think, with Allen, there's some ways where maybe he doesn't run some touchdowns early in the year. They want to, try out this, Ray Davis guy who I'm, actually pretty high on, but, it's big field GPP play only. A lot of these run, of course, Richardson has Jonathan Taylor outs to where you're pounding the table because, JT's going in there 2 or 3 times. So I think Stroud as a passer profile, I think it's easily the safest floor of the week.
Yeah, I actually agree. Like, I would be shocked. I don't even know what his prop is. I'm going to look that up, actually. But I would be shocked if he didn't throw for 300 yards today. Like, he's really shocked.
I think he's the odds-on favorite to lead the league in passing for this week. I think that's what I saw yesterday, which makes sense, obviously.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so you guys can start funneling some questions here. Matt, can you see the questions on the side here? No.
Yeah, I got them.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right. But for me, how many teams are you playing today, Matt? I'm playing 4 on DraftKings and 2 on FanDuel.
I have no action basically on FanDuel this week. It's just a lot to figure out with the new scoring. They added a Sunday night game. I just didn't feel
Yeah.
like I was prepared enough. So I
Mhm.
have little to no action going on at FanDuel. I week one I tend to have more because I've had so much time, dude. As you know, I predicted the day they would release salaries back in July, and I've been on it since then. So I have one main, the way I always have it. My main lineup consists of 2/3 of my volume, and the other third of the volume is this week. It's like 8 or 9 other teams. So I'm about 10 teams total.
Okay. Yeah. I kind of like FanDuel including that Sunday night game just because it's a good game. Kind of reminds me of the
I
old
do too.
days, you know.
Yeah, I do too. I do think that is very cool, and I do think that I'm gonna, get on FanDuel more and more as the year goes on. But I was just
Mhm.
kind of caught me by surprise.
Yeah. All right. I didn't answer that question earlier. Survivor top 3. I am playing Seattle in my Survivor pools today. Matt, I don't know. I don't think you play in Survivor pools, but who
Yeah,
do you have any team? Like I think Cincy is the projected highest owned play,
I
obviously
wouldn't do
playing New
that,
England.
man. I wouldn't take this version of Cincy as my Survivor pool.
I completely agree,
Yeah,
especially if they're the highest owned.
yeah, there'll be better opportunities there. Yeah, I think Seattle. I think an argument can be made for the Buccaneers as well. But for me, it'd be Seattle.
Yeah, I just feel safe with Seattle, which
Looks
I
like
guess I could look stupid, I guess, but I don't know. I would be really surprised if they lost.
Matt Shearer said Tyreek's arrested. I think
Mhm.
covered in Discord, but it looks like he's going to play. I mean, we're not freaking out about that. Um,
Yeah, he's
yeah.
good to go. I mean,
Frosty
Schefter
said
said he's good to go, so
Frosty. I think that's Frosty FV. I'm assuming, right? Frosty said
yes.
J.K. Dobbins or Gus. I think by far it's Dobbins for me. I don't know about you, and I actually have some exposure to Dobbins across a couple of my lineups. Actually,
Anthony Carson in the chat, longtime analyst, first time caller. Anthony, hello.
AC dude, we go.
Someone said something about you, AC. Oh, someone called you out, AC. Okay, so Matt, I don't know if you noticed this, but the video that I do, the first look video that I used to do with
Yeah.
AC forever, the
Mhm.
YouTube comments used to just shit on him like
Oh yeah,
all the time, like every week. It was like clockwork.
yeah.
And then this year I do it and he's not on there and someone comments, like bring back AC for one time. I'm like, "Oh yeah, so look, now they're coming back." But then somebody came out and said,
Yeah.
AC, you were going to get on this show and pretend you watch football. I don't think that's fair. AC watches football. I don't know.
He's definitely hey, if nothing else, he's definitely a watch the games guy. We know that.
100%. He's just full-time dad now. I mean, I
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
say
for
anything
sure.
bad about that. Hold on. There was another point per dollar, London Neighbors, Kirk Dell. That's kind of the range. I mean, you could throw Chris Godwin in that range as well. I think that's the range for cash games people will be, hammering. Definitely playing 2 of them. I would personally rank Neighbors number 1. I'm putting Drake London last. I don't care. I'm sorry. I know he
Yeah.
projects well, but yeah, that guy will be last for me of that
Dude,
group.
the second half of the season, we saw legitimate shadowing for Joey Porter Jr. and he shut down the league's greatest receivers.
Yeah.
And Drake London in the new offense. I don't know. I don't see it when Neighbors is what $100 cheaper, and Neighbors is the clear alpha in a phenomenal matchup. I mean,
Yeah, way
Minnesota's
better
guys
matchup.
off the streets. So yeah, I couldn't imagine playing London over Neighbors this week. It's just like that's just not ball knowing.
Yeah, I completely agree. Sierra Man OG in the stream chat, favorite FanDuel running back. So Matt, I don't think you said you're not playing FanDuel. So for me, I would play Chuba Hubbard on FanDuel if it's cash games, just because he's so much cheaper. On DraftKings, I'm not going to be playing him really, but FanDuel, I would play him over there. And then after that, it gets a little bit murky. I think I would plug him in and build like my lineup and just see kind of who fits in, because FanDuel, Yoshi Boss is not typically the type of guy I would play on FanDuel, but I think there's reason to this week. And if you put in Hubbard and Yoshi Boss, you can pretty much play whoever you want on FanDuel. So I would just build my team out and see kind of, you have Kenneth Walker in there. I like A-Chain, obviously. Even James Conner, who we talked about, is a good FanDuel play.
Yeah, he's super cheap. Yeah, he's a traditional FanDuel type of play. Makes
Yeah.
sense. I know he's a road dog, but I think this spot's really good, actually.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Arizona should be able to score. I just don't know
Totally.
about
I've
them
been
winning games.
I've been getting more and more on. I texted you this morning about Devontae Adams, man.
Yeah.
I just think, like, look, he had some fine games last year. I do think Gardner Minshew is better quarterback play without question for him. Gardner knows how to get a first read out, and I mean, Gardner was really productive with someone like Michael Pittman. I saw a couple coach speak, couple interview stuff going on too that I actually do think are actionable. We saw, I don't know why they would do it, but the Chargers social media team, did you see that tweet that they put out? They put a picture of a Pop Tart, a garbage flavored
Yeah.
Pop Tart, and then they put a picture of Devontae Adams next to it, and like he's smoked the Chargers
Yeah.
since he became a Raider, and they interviewed him. He's like, look, I mean, he was like pissed, and he said, history's going to repeat itself. That's what I can say. And he's averaged 150 yards against this Chargers defense. And plus, then there's a podcast with Minshew, and he was talking to, like, I think Max Crosby, and he said that he's never been around a player like Devontae before. He's like, "Well, what do you mean?" He's like, "Because he's like, if he's on one-on-one coverage, he's like, you have to throw to him. Like he understands the assignment already. He's like, you feed him. Like, I just think it's, if you can guarantee, I could basically guarantee he's going to get 9, 10 plus targets against a matchup he's crushed. He's motivated. He's pissed off. And, oh, yeah, he's literally unowned. He's 1% owned.
Yeah.
I just think, at 7,600, Devontae, again, it's kind of not my style typically, but I just think that's awesome at 1%.
Yeah, I'm not playing enough teams on main slate to get to him. I will be playing an afternoon team, and I'm going to make a point to play him. I agree. He genuinely seemed like upset about
Oh, yeah.
that. Like,
That's how he is. He was pissed.
Yeah.
He was like, he was not even smiling. Like, he didn't laugh it off at all, so I don't know. And then you have this improved quarterback play, and a guy who literally said already, he's like, you have to throw to him. Like, if he's, like, you have to throw. So, I mean,
the Raiders are live to win that game too, I think. Definitely.
they are. Our boy Dom Toretto says Shakir props. Dude, I'm high on Shakir. I think that, so the cool stat is he finished the year, the last, I think, 8 or 9 games, half the amount of targets as Stephon Diggs last year with more receiving yards. Amazing separation score metrics last year. I mean, I don't know about you. It hurts me to say Keon Coleman, a fellow Spartan dog, he is not separating whatsoever.
Yeah.
He didn't do it in preseason. He didn't do it in college, really. And they're going to put him on, I think, kind of a sacrificial outside X receiver role, and then it's going to feed through Kincaid and Shakir. Samuel, I'm high on Curtis Samuel for the year, but he is banged up with a legitimate turf toe, and he just looks kind of like, I don't know, careful in practice videos this week. Are you on Shakir at all? I thought you were.
Yeah. Shout out to Dom Toretto, obviously, first and foremost. But Shakir is my favorite Bills pass catcher. That's not, Dalton Kincaid. Favorite receiver on the Bills for sure. I do have Shakir on a team.
In your heart of hearts, you like Shakir more than Kincaid. Let's be honest. You have
to. Yeah, maybe. I'd have to think about it. I don't know. I have a lot of Kincaid on like season long because he just kept falling. Like, I don't know. He just kept falling to me. So Kincaid, I'm kind of like biased.
I get it. I'm high on him this year, but he missed. I mean, Dawson Knox.
Dude, Dawson Knox is more of a factor than people want to believe.
Dawson Knox had more red zone looks and end zone targets than Kincaid, and Dawson Knox missed games last year.
Yeah, I hit a big. I think I hit in their playoff game against the Steelers. I hit Dawson Knox's first touchdown, and he was pretty high odds. But I agree. I like Shakir. Shakir's legit good at football. People think he's like just a guy that they're filling in. Like, no, like Shakir is actually good. There's a reason why like they didn't, other than drafting Coleman, like they weren't super motivated to go get anybody other than Curtis Samuel. It's not like they were on the market for one of these top. Like they were never even a conversation for one of these top kind of receivers that were, available. So, yeah, I like Shakir.
Is it really only 47 yards for his prop? I mean, that
seems low, I would say.
Yeah, we're buying in on that game.
It's probably just an unknown, because we haven't seen them on the field. So, yeah, getting in early on that would be.
Are you playing much JSN in your non-Walker lineups? Are you favoring Walker? What are you doing with Seattle guys? I think we're both kind of high in this offense with the new OC. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, love the offense this year. I thought when I first looked at the slate, I was like, oh, I'm going to be pretty heavy on JSN. I don't
Mhm.
think I'm going to have much of him.
Okay.
I just prefer Kenneth Walker, I think, for how
Yeah.
there's so many good. It's not a normal week. There's so many strong mid-tier receivers. Like dropping
Yeah.
down to JSN, I just don't like. I don't need to, you know.
Yeah. Agreed.
But Kenneth Walker fits so perfectly with the running backs. Where do you think Kenneth Walker will end up ownership wise in comparison to that kind of range of guys? Because that's kind of where everyone's going, you know.
So yeah, people are going to play because they're sheep and they listen to websites. They're going to play Rashad White and Kamara, and I think I'm with you. I'm not playing those guys this week.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of those two beating me. They both have paths to failure. I think Rashad White's very safe, and I understand the play. I think K9 in this new line, they're going to play faster under Ryan Grubb. I think he's going to come in the low to mid teens. I think like a 14 to 17, which is
Mhm.
certainly up there. But I think you're going to see Kamara and Rashad White in well into the 20s, maybe even touching 30 on Rashad White.
Yeah, I think White's fine in double ups and head to heads. I want no White in tournaments. I want no Kamara at all. I
Mhm.
mean, like, yes, Kamara can catch 7 balls. Like that's 100% in the
In this
range of
game
outcomes.
script, though, in this game script, right? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. So for first of all, they should be winning the game, which hinders that. But more importantly, I have zero confidence in him getting carries inside the 10 even, you know, like they want it. Clint Kubiak will use Taysom Hill in the red zone, and they still have Jamal Williams lurking, like
Mhm.
for the same reasons that people don't like A-Chain. Kamara has those same, you know, worries, other than, you know, obviously he has a higher catch floor, but I mean, neither of them are going to have like a secure red zone role. A-Chain honestly might have a more secure red zone role than
Yeah,
Kamara.
with
I'm not
all the
gonna lie.
cool packages that they have, I agree. Dude,
Yeah.
they're gonna play him out wide. Like they showed it in the preseason. They literally threw a go ball to A Chain on the outside.
Yeah,
Um,
and the you just have hyper efficiency with the
yeah,
Dolphins and Agent. You don't have that with the Saints. I'm much more, to your point, I'm much more scared of A-Chain beating me than Kamara or Rashad White.
totally. It's not even close.
It's
It's not
yeah,
even
it's not even close. Yeah.
my big three is Walker, Connors, and Walker, Connor, and A Chain without question. Those three
Yeah,
are this week. I mean, yeah.
I agree with that. Let me see here. 8-man league, Drake London or Javante. I would just start Drake London, I think, in that setting. I don't know. Would you play Javante over London in a season long league? I think I just
No,
play
I just
London.
wouldn't. I know I don't like the London play, but I
Yeah,
prefer
I would
playing
just put
London.
him different situation of season long versus
You see, by the way, you see your boy Taysom Hill got named captain like 2 days ago too.
yeah, right before you jumped on, I said plus 200 for him to score a touchdown is like a
That's
really
yeah,
good bet. I
no
mean,
question.
really good bet.
Um, AC, yes, we already hyped up JJ like crazy. I think they led the league in dropbacks last year. He crushed with terrible quarterback play. I think Darnold is serviceable. No one's even mad if Darnold throws a pick six in the first drive of the game. Those who are
Yeah.
rostering JJ,
The,
you probably like that.
the Vikings team led the NFL in passing yards last year
Yeah,
with some combination of Kirk Cousins, Josh Dobbs, Nick Mullins. Like, why can Sam Darnold not be good enough for like fantasy purposes? We don't
yeah.
need him to go win a bunch of games, you know?
With like months of prep time for KOC, in an easy matchup. The Giants do have a pass rush, so that will be something to look at. But I mean, almost a third of his
Yeah.
routes were ran out of the slot last year, and the Giants gave up the most points in the league to slot receivers last year for fantasy points.
Brian Coleman had said Fields and cash on DraftKings. I will not be playing Fields, assuming he gets confirmed as the starter. I've not seen official word on that. But yeah, I won't be playing him. Matt kind of nailed it yesterday in our group chat, but dropping down. Oh yeah, I do actually see Justin Fields will start week 1. Okay.
My boy,
Um,
Mike Music says, is Aaron Rodgers going to finish as a top 10 QB? Top 10? I don't think so for top 10. I think Brees is just. There's been reports that like they're still going to run the offense through Brees, and then you just have a lot of awesome connections with Garrett Wilson, obviously in the red zone. But I think no, I don't think he finishes top 10. I am high on Rodgers, but I think like top 15 or 16 would be a big win for the Jets.
Agree. Chase is active officially. Dak Prescott got signed, so that's good for him. Shout out.
Matt Scher says Neighbors Washington or Hubbard Buffalo and cash. I mean, dude, if you if you like sex, you have to go Neighbors Washington. I mean,
we're playing Neighbors over Hubbard and cash.
Yeah, you can't play.
Come on. Yeah. If you watch this stream, if there's one thing that this stream over the years has done, I do not care if I'm like wrong about something, but there is just no way. Like if Chuba Hubbard beats me because I played Neighbors, okay, whatever. I lost, I guess, but whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
Chase Brown, I think, is interesting. Someone in the chat mentioned him for tournaments. Wouldn't play him in cash, but to your point of with the receivers kind of up in the air there, he could play a bigger receiving role.
Yep.
And very fairly priced. So.
I put him in one of my top 4 or 5 lineups. I think I got to check. Yeah, he's in one of my lineups, or 2 of them actually. I think they can just they're going to alter the play calls a little bit, right? If you don't have your main outside receiver, and then you don't have your number 1 alpha on full go basis, he's limited snaps. How do you not, bake in some more running back plays? I mean, it's Chase Brown, man. I think, Yoshi, of course, is going to be massive, massive chalk. You have to play him. Remember, was I talking to you about how, I mean, the size matchup, he's going to have 7 or 8 inches on this tiny 5'8" slot, corner on New England. I mean, Yoshi, you have to play him, unfortunately.
He's like someone we've talked about in years past. Like, he's actually good at football, too. Like, this is not a situation where this isn't even like a Trenton Irwin situation like from last year. Like, this guy's legitimately good at football. I mean, they drafted a receiver pretty high, and he easily kind of just pushed him to the side, like throughout training camp. Like, this guy is good at football.
I had him in my main lineup, assuming that all 3 were going to play Chase Higgins and him. I honestly did. And I'm kind of annoyed now that he's chalk, but it's also a way better spot for him now. So it is what it is. What do you think about obviously I'm not putting him in all my tournament lineups because he's going to be 30-40% owned. I like for 800, 900 more. I like A.D. Mitchell, especially if you're going to play some Houston Colts stuff. And I like Dortch. I know you and I are big Dortch guys.
I love Dortch.
Yeah. I think
Dortch could catch like 6 or 7 balls today. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. I think he's again across the middle, right? We talked about Matt Milano for middle linebacker, 2 new backup safeties playing for Buffalo. You're across the middle, so that's your Dortch, McBride, and Connor all day. Yeah,
agree. Stephanie asked, I don't think Matt, you play Millie Maker, don't you? Like a little bit.
Yeah. So I mean it's $5, right? So yeah, so if I have a 10, 11 lineups this week, I put all of them in the Millie Maker. Yeah, I'm doing the $100 Millie Maker too. Obviously, my what I focus all my time on is the the $1,500, the game changer, the small. It's like 247 entries. I'm building my lineup every week, trying to win that tournament. I've gotten second twice there, but So, but by the way, I mean a little bit of like theory stuff. You don't have to go crazy in these smaller fields. First of all, you should be playing way more smaller field than what you do play. I understand it's tempting to see the top prizes up top at 100,000 plus. I understand that. I've benefited from that, a couple times, but in general, your hit rates are so much higher in these 500 or less field size contests. And with those, you don't have to go crazy unique and highly leveraged. You can literally take look at these 2 very reasonable, awesome plays in Jefferson and Connor. And they're both going to be like, I mean, Jefferson's going to be like 4 or 5% owned. Like, those are reasonable plays. And if you mix those in those smaller fields, that's already unique enough. You can still play chalk Yoshi and chalk K9 and A-Chain. It's all there.
Yeah. You don't have to get crazy. Like, you can play a pretty chalky lineup with just a couple guys, like you just said, that are not going to be owned, and it's fine. Tight end streamer, Fant, Otten, or Conklin. I think it's between Fant and Otten. Might be it might be Cade Otten for me.
I would go.
I
would go Fant. Yeah, I would. They're talking about him getting a lot more playing time this year. He was kind of like disrespected with the last coaching regime. You got Lockett, who's banged up. It'd be Fant for me.
White or Walker DraftKings cash. I think White will be higher owned.
Yeah,
Walker will have ownership. I think White will be higher owned. I
that's
mean, I
actually hard.
prefer
I mean,
Kenneth Walker as a
yeah,
play, but
I'm playing Kenneth Walker. It's
it's
close, but I'm
tough.
playing
It's close. I might play Rashad White just in my cash lineup, and then I'm not gonna
right. I get
have him
that.
on
I get
anything
that move.
else. I'm playing A-Chain over Kamara in cash. I don't care. Like, I just don't care.
Yeah.
I also saw Jalen Wright was a healthy scratch.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Oh god, that's
They
that's
just have
so.
Jeff Wilson, but Jeff Wilson's a special teamer, so
There's
I
such a
guess that
dude.
makes sense. But
There's a chance that A-Chain goes completely insane today.
I know.
They give him 17 touches, like it's literally it's over.
I try to like put myself in check with this, Matt, because like there's really no one I've been like this high on throughout the entire like off season. But it's like I try to put myself in check, but I mean, why is it unreasonable to think he could get like 3 more touches a game? I don't think that's
You
why.
kind of have to, right?
Yeah. Like,
So
am I
you
crazy
reward
for thinking
no,
that? I don't
no.
understand.
You reward that. You mean what he did last year, you reward that, and, you have to, and, I mean, that's just good coaching, I think, and that's probably my favorite coach in the NFL is
Yeah,
McDaniel.
and that doesn't mean he has to get 3 more carries a game. Like you said, he could
Right.
run these routes and,
Yeah.
he could he's probably gonna be like their wide receiver 3 today. I'm
Yeah.
not even lying.
There's no
Like,
Malik dude, there's no Malik
yeah,
Washington, there's
no Malik
no
Washington,
Craycraft.
Braxton Barris is a special teamer.
Yeah.
Like, there's a very realistic chance that Devin Achane is their 3rd receiver today, and then also is mixing in and getting some carries. Like, and there will be designed red zone stuff for Achane when
Yes.
McDaniels had, a month and a half knowing his
And
opponent.
and don't you think, like, he kinda took care of his boy, from San Fran? He took care of Mostert last year. He let him get 20 touchdowns. He led the league in touchdowns. I think that, like, you wanna have Mostert on your, your depth chart. I get it. I think he's just gonna do a coming out party for A-Chain this year. It's really pissing me off he's not in my main lineup. I can't fit him,
Yeah.
I can't get up to him, but I have him in, like, all of my other stuff. So, yeah.
Fields, London, or Richardson, Neighbors, DraftKings cash. I would take the second.
Yeah. No
For
question.
me, I don't want to play Justin Fields.
No, neither do I. Oh, this is a good one. Tank Dollar, Chris Kirk, or Shakir for cash. So who's higher owned? He's saying. Well, the highest owned for sure is Kirk.
Yeah.
You're gonna have Dell and Shakir moderately to low owned. Again, I'm a different type of cash player, right? So most people would say, hey, Kirk's in a good spot. He's the highest owned. You play Kirk. Me, I personally like Dell and Shakir more than Kirk this week. Probably I would play Dell.
Yeah,
Again,
I was debating Dell and Kirk pretty hard for my cash lineup. I got to think about it, I guess, maybe a little bit more. Lady B. Smith, we did answer your question. Yeah, Matt said Fant. I kind of agree. So, oh yeah, someone in chat answered that for me. Thank you. I don't know. So you would play Dell over Kirk in like a
Do
double
you
up?
have Tyreek in the lineup? I'm assuming too,
Yes.
with the correlation.
I think with the core, like I have A-Chain and Hill, so it's like I have to play Kirk, I guess.
Yeah, I guess you do. And he's more of a cash play. I get it.
Yeah, he's more. Dude, but Tank is so good. There's nobody higher on Tank Dell than me.
I
I mean, this
know.
guy, I was beating the drum for this guy last summer
We
hard.
both were. For me, I mean, I just find the 400 and get up to Neighbors. I know it's a rookie in his first game.
Oh yeah, yeah. No,
None of
Neighbors is assuming I already have Neighbors.
Yeah, none of those guys he mentioned are going to be true alpha wide receiver ones. Did you hear the story that like Dable has like half of his playbook that it says Neighbors plays? Did you hear about this?
I don't know if I saw that.
So he's got like the Denny's menu thing, right, with like a play thing.
Oh yeah, yeah, on the back.
Yeah, on the back there's like a massive section. It's just Neighbors plays, and it's like
this is such a good him taking over the play calling.
Yeah,
is perfect because
that's
he's just gonna funnel like everything through Malik Neighbors. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Frosty said K. Super Bowl. If Kendrick Lamar is doing the Super Bowl halftime show, I will not be watching it.
Oh, you're not a big Kendrick guy?
No. I'm Team Drake over here. Get this guy out of here. I'm not watching him play not like a
Dude,
17
my
times in a
kids
row.
hack up at
Oh
that
my
song in the
god.
car, like, they can't get over it. They think it's so weird. I'm like, "It is weird. He's a
Yeah,
weird guy." Yeah.
it's just like, yeah, I can't do it. 100% boost for a money line pick today. Uh, hmm. Let me see. What's close enough that we could get it to like what's your thoughts on oh man. I don't know, honestly.
So 100% boost, do you go, like, heavy favorite to make it more fair?
That's
Do
what
you
I'm
set the
thinking.
dog?
I think I would rather have a close one so it's like pretty plus money, but I don't really love like Vikings maybe.
Well, maybe Tampa Bay.
Yeah, it's like this is like a weird week. I don't like
I think people are too high on Jaden Daniels personally.
yeah,
I don't know.
I kind of agree.
I think at the top
First
Bowles is
game.
gonna scheme up just crazy. I mean, the guy blitzes at the top 3 rate in the league. He's gonna send just the house at Jaden Daniels, and I think he'll put up some numbers for sure, but I don't know. On the road,
Yeah.
rookie quarterback, it just and terrible defense too. That's the thing. Dude, Tampa Bay could put up 30 points this week.
Yeah, I kind of like Tampa for that as well.
I need to get so you're on Evans, right? Like, you're definitely on him.
Love Mike Evans today, yeah.
I never play him, right? But
Yes.
God, I have literally no Mike Evans, and if he goes for like 150 and 2, I'm punching air. I don't know. I don't want to. Are you playing him as a one off? Or are you doing it with Jaden Daniels stuff?
Yeah, I'm not playing Jaden Daniels, so I
Okay.
think
Oh, okay.
a one-off, I have like I don't even I have him in my one lineup right now, but I was debating maybe I like dude, there's some good contests on this afternoon slate. Like I might just join that and do a Baker stack, Baker, Evans,
Yeah,
and you could even double it up. You could get Godwin and Evans. I don't know.
I like Godwin a lot this week too.
I might do that, but it's just such a good spot for him. I definitely bet Mike Evans is my favorite like touchdown bet on the slate. If you're just gonna make a touchdown bet, but
I did do that.
uh,
I did bet him to score a touchdown.
yeah,
I'm looking at my lineups. I have so much JSN. I'd feel bad if I didn't mention anything. I mean, JSN. Ryan Grubb comes to town. This is a guy who saw JSN destroy the college football world. Obviously, he came from Washington. He's been in college for a while, and he gets a fresh look at this Seattle team. He sees a dusty and injured Tyler Lockett, who's
mhm,
legit old and losing his fastball, and he sees K9. He's going to make him. He's all like going crazy about how good he thinks Walker is. I think that in my I know that in my non-Walker lineups, I have a ton of JSN this week.
yeah,
We try not to get too in the weeds about like cornerback matchups, but obviously, DK Metcalf is going to be. I don't know if he'll for sure be shadowed or not by Surtain, but Surtain's like a true difference maker in the league, right? I mean, he's a top 3 cornerback in the league. He has a
mhm,
history of just shadowing DK. There's a
yeah,
case to be made for a faster playing Seattle with the new OC who sees something in JSN more than just a 2-yard A dot like he got last year. I think JSN could, just wreck it. And I think that it makes sense. In my non Kenneth Walker lineups, I should have JSN because that's what kills Walkers if there's
mhm.
all these long touchdowns being scored.
Yeah, and there's like a very real chance, like we won't know until a couple weeks from now, but there's a very real chance that JSN is just the best receiver on the team. Like he could be better than DK
I
Metcalf
think he
in
is.
terms of real life football. Like that's very very likely.
Yeah, I think probably he is. I mean, you saw that one like nice sideline 30+ yard, almost just trust him type of throw from Gino to JSN in the preseason. Like, I don't know, man. I think we're
Yeah.
gonna see some JSN action.
Yeah, I completely agree. Running back or wide receiver for flex and cash. Typically it's week dependent for me, Mike. This week I am playing on DraftKings. I will always skew more receiver heavy just because of the scoring system than FanDuel, but it's still week dependent. This week, I think for receivers, with how good that mid tier is in receiver with the 5K range, I think that it would be. I wouldn't be very excited to play a 3 running back lineup this week. I don't think.
Yeah, definitely not on DK. Not
Yeah,
on DK. True Love says, is Hayden Hurst a good tournament play? No, I don't think he's a good tournament play.
probably too thin. There's other cheap tight ends you could consider.
I will cover that. I mean, my cheap head end of the week that luckily Johnny Munt is picking up some steam at the same price. I'm playing Kylan Granson. We saw
Yeah.
Jelani Woods
And
go down
Gesicki too,
here.
but like people will
Yeah,
play Gesicki. I mean, anyone else down there is not going to be owned.
man, I'm a Gesicki guy too. I really
Has
am.
to jump the shark a little bit, Mike Gesicki. I mean,
I know.
this
And
is like year 8 of doing this Mike Gesicki thing.
dude, Drew Sample's getting paid like 3 times what Gesicki's getting paid
Yeah.
for, too.
Like,
Like, and they just rotate
this is
these
like the
guys so fast.
6th year of us like
I
hoping that
know.
maybe Mike Gesicki does
I
it.
know,
Like,
and Granson was one of the
it,
favorite targets of Rich, of A Rich, and then we saw Jelani Woods go down. I think this team with Stingley on the outside for the Texans, I think that Granson, there's a path for him to really outperform, and he's single digit owned, and he's 2.9K. I mean, I'm just, and I'm obviously playing him in my Anthony Richardson lineups. So
yeah. Favorite props. I don't know what the odds are now or whatever. Zach Ertz over 2.5 catches. I took like 3 days ago. That was my favorite prop of the week. I don't know if it's moved. I have no idea, but I really liked that. I think he's going to be the safety blanket for Jaden Daniels. And if they start struggling, on offense, he could catch 5-6 balls, no problem today. So Zach Ertz over 2.5. I like. I don't hate Mike Evans stuff. I like to bet if I'm going to take a receiving prop in terms of an over on yardage, I like guys that can hit on big plays. So Mike Evans could literally go over his receiving yards prop on like 2 catches. So I like him. Washington gives up big plays. They've really struggled with bigger receivers because everyone on their secondary weighs like 180 pounds. So I don't know. He's just going to be able to body them up. A.J. Brown has absolutely smoked them ever since he joined the Eagles. I think Mike Evans can do the exact same thing. So Mike Evans stuff, I'm interested in. Zach Ertz. Same game, actually.
I like
Stuff.
way higher odds stuff. We were just talking with me and some buddies today. I do like Ray Davis touchdown props.
Don't hate it. Don't hate
I
it.
think he's 5-1 to score a touchdown, and
Yeah,
this is when the world doesn't know yet how they're going to deploy him. But I mean, dude, they're putting the ball in the belly of a dusty ass Latavius Murray last
yeah.
year.
Ty Johnson was getting goal line
So,
carries.
and I think game 1 in at home where they should, they're big favorites. Maybe they don't go crazy with Josh, running, in the red zone. Maybe they give this Ray Davis kid a shot at it. I mean, he's a big back, and they he looked great in the preseason. So I think that 5-1 is just a little crazy. I even bet him to score 2 touchdowns. I think at like 16-1 or something. So yeah.
Yeah. I jumped as soon as I saw that notification for T. Higgins doubtful, I bet Yoshivas touchdown plus 300. I think
Nice.
he's down like plus 130 now or something. Are all the Miami receivers playing? Well, Hill and Waddle are playing. Yes, they really don't have much after that. Malik Washington will not be playing. So that's why I was kind of talking about, I think A-Chain is just going to be like their third receiver, to be quite honest with you. I mean, they have like Braxton Berrios will run some routes, but I mean, I don't know. Hill and A-Chain, same lineup for cash, I think is fine. Tristan, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yoshi, a must on FanDuel cash. He's not a must on FanDuel. DraftKings, you have to play him. FanDuel, you don't. But I said at the top of the stream, I don't typically make plays like that on FanDuel. But this week in particular, I think there's more reason to than not. Just with the lineup I can get on FanDuel with that, you have to have exposure to that Sunday night game on your FanDuel cash team. It's like the best game of the day. So being able to get some pieces of that, I think it's fine to take the punt play with Yoshi there. Upset of the day. If I had to pick an upset, I think the Panthers are live and I think the Raiders are live. That would be the 2 for me, I think.
Yeah. I'm trying to look through. I think yeah. I like those 2. Obviously, I think Colts are live at home dogs.
Oh, yeah. Colts are live too. I forgot that. Yeah. I bet Colts plus 3.
I like the over. I like the over in the Minnesota and
yes.
and New York game. I just think, I mean, the pace notes for that game, that's projected to be a really up in pace game.
Mm-hmm.
2 terrible defenses, and the market is lower on these quarterbacks than they should be. I know how bad Danny Dimes looked coming off a long injury and was rusty in the preseason. Who cares? A lot of times they're just trying stuff out, and they're not like prepping like that crazy. I think that Dable and Kevin O'Connell are going to have their boys ready. I know Danny Dimes and Darnold doesn't sound like a marquee matchup, but like, dude, those defenses are so bad. And we have really good offensive minds behind these quarterbacks with tons of time to prepare. I think 42.5 is just kind of silly, I think, for that game.
Yeah, we talked about it in the group chat over the summer, but people are like overstating the Giants being bad. Like the Giants were terrible last year, but they lost their quarterback in, very soon at the start of the season. They had a terrible offensive line. They invested heavily in the offensive line in this offseason. The last time we saw Daniel Jones play a full season, they were middle of the pack offensive DVOA, 16th. They won a playoff game. Like this is not a situation where they're going to be the worst. Like people are just like, oh, that's the worst offense in football. Like that's just not accurate whatsoever.
Agreed.
Start one at flex, Ridley, Addison, Odunze. Might be Odunze for me. I mean, Ridley could be okay. I think the Titans are going to throw the ball a lot. Addison, I guess the game's fine. We just obviously talked about it, but I don't know, man. I want to see it, I guess. I just don't know where his head's at with everything going on. He missed some time in training camp.
Yeah, he's banged up too.
Yeah.
He's fine. It's just a little too thin because it's not like he's free, right? He's around other players that you want to play. Isn't he like 5K or 5,100? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Like I just would so much rather play, Shakir at that price, even Palmer at that price. He's 300. Yeah, there's no chance. I mean, he just doesn't get the nod from me. I'd be playing Palmer, Shakir, JSN over him without even thinking.
Yeah. Frosty, I think Caleb will get some ownership. I don't have him personally. I'm not out on him. I think he can definitely have a good game today.
You know who's going to play Caleb?
Who?
People that live in Chicago.
Oh yeah. Well, we also have the Hard Knocks effect.
Yeah, but it's just that's a real thing in week one, man. There will never be more casuals playing that than in week one, and they literally just build lineups of their favorite players. Like that's a real thing that makes up a huge percentage of these big contests. Like it's. I mean, not to trash my own father, but my father-in-law put a lineup together.
Oh no!
He goes, yeah. They let me put in 4 Lions players. I'm like, yeah. He had Goff, he had Goff, Monty, and Gibbs, and then he had 5. Then he had JMO, and then he had he either had Amonra or he had, but he had 5 Lions, right? So I mean, you'll see stuff like that this week.
Father-in-law play of the day. I wasn't ready for it.
On FanDuel for Lions, yeah.
Pickens, Sutton, Javonte Williams for the flex. I'll take Javonte.
Yeah.
Assuming this is like season long. Jalen Waddle over Ford for season long also. Not even close for me. I hate that. Exact score. I gave this out in the group chat. Exact score, play of the day. This is a fixed match. Browns 19, Cowboys 17, 150 to 1 on FanDuel. Go put that in for $1. And then next week on the stream, you guys can thank me for the free $150 that I gave you.
I'm not even going to ask where that came from. I'm just betting it.
Yeah, it's just as sometimes you just know.
Yeah.
Chalky tight ends for cash. I think Pitts. Wait, who'd you say? Pitts and who?
It's Pitts and Ingram, I think, a lot of it.
Yeah. I think Pitts will be the highest owned. I don't know. I really don't know. Like, will people really spend $5,500 on a tight end in cash? I don't know.
So I'm seeing Pitts, Ingram, then like the Kincaid and McBride, range.
Interesting.
Gesicki's taken up, he's shooting up a little bit from.
Yeah, I thought maybe Gesicki, but I guess people don't need the money.
No. Yeah, not
like on a like if this was next week, like Gesicki would be really cheap.
Everyone's playing Yoshi, so they're not going to double up.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
The Bengals, but do we have any Chargers in our lineup? I have some Dobbins in some of my GPPs. I think that this is a week 1 thing. You don't know what you don't know yet. They've already admitted they're gonna play the hot hand. I think Dobbins has just a way higher chance of being the hot hand than Gus Edwards. I mean, all camp, dude. Dobbins has just been like straight up healthy since like April. Like just straight up healthy.
I hope he stays healthy, man. Just one time.
Me too.
Can he just have a fully healthy season? Just not even for anything. He just deserves it.
Yeah, agreed.
Burrow over Fields for season long. Melissa, it was Browns 19, Cowboys 17 exact score on FanDuel. It's like 150 to 1. Maybe it's not 150 to 1 anymore because I told everyone I know about it and everybody probably bet it. So they might have like moved the odds down just because they were like, why is this conglomerate of North Canton, Ohio betting 1917 exact score on this game? But I think for going back to the Chargers, though, I'm not going to have any of them. But man, getting ahead of like Lad McConkey in a mini stack with Devontae could not be the worst thing in like a larger field contest. I wouldn't play that in the stuff I play, but
yep, I don't mind that.
All right. I mean, we've been on here for an hour. If you guys have any last minute questions, drop them in real quick. Pretty good viewership here on the first stream of the year, so appreciate you guys for tuning in. Like I said, my cores are posted on the website, so if you want access to that, sign up or I guess just like reach out to me.
Leroy, he's asking if I'm going to post FanDuel after. I'm going to post cores after I get off. DK obviously is 99.9% of my volume. I think I will post a FanDuel core. I do have a lineup there. Just know that it's very light volume, and I did not like super grind FanDuel this week. Is all.
I really like my FanDuel cash team this week. Jetta's Granson versus A-Chain Pitts. I'd take the second one, CJ, for cash. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate it. I will obviously be live same time next weekend. Matt, I mean, you're free, obviously, to join us whenever you want this season.
Cool.
So,
yeah. Thanks, bud.
Whenever you have time.
Always a good time. Let's
hop
go
in.
Let's go
Good
watch
luck.
Dance all day long.
Yes. Malik Neighbors and Jefferson are just going to be cooking. God, it's going to be so good.
Oh, my God. Just start already. I need this to start.
I know. All right. Good luck, everybody. And we'll see you next week.